Are you unknowingly making the same deadly slot machine mistakes that drain bankrolls faster than you can blink? Neon lights, chiming slot machines, that electrifying hope in the air. A casino can feel like another world. You sit down at a slot machine, heart pounding as you feed it a crisp bill. The reels spin in a blur of colours. This could be it, you think. The jackpot, the life-changing win. But stop for a moment. Look around. Really look. Notice the absence of clocks on the walls, the friendly server offering you a free drink, the way the slot screen flashes near misses that make your pulse spike. None of this is accidental. Casinos don't leave anything to chance except your odds of winning, and those odds, they're carefully stacked against you. Former casino employees have a saying, your greed is their profit. They've watched countless players fall into the same traps over and over, often without ever realizing their mistakes. Today, those insiders are breaking their silence. We're about to expose the 10 things you should never do at the slots. The subtle mistakes and misconceptions that quietly drain your wallet. Especially number 7, a mistake so common that almost every slot player is guilty of it. So, if you've ever touched a slot machine or even thought about trying your luck, stay with us. What you learn in the next few minutes could mean the difference between a fun night out and a financial disaster. Let's pull back the curtain on the slot machine secrets casinos pray you never find out. Number 10. Playing blind, not understanding your machine. You might be surprised how many people walk up to a slot, feed in money, and hit spin without ever reading the game rules or pay table. The casino floor is full of flashy machines with dozens of pay lines, bonus features, and progressive jackpots. But if you don't take a moment to learn how they work, you're essentially flying blind. Picture this, you land what looks like a jackpot combination, bills go off. But the payout is tiny. Why? Because you didn't bet on all the lines, or you weren't betting enough to qualify for the bonus or jackpot. It happens more often than you think, and casinos count on that oversight. Every slot has an information screen or pay table that reveals its secrets. How many lines? What does each symbol pay? Do you need a certain bet to unlock the bonus round or progressive jackpot? Not knowing these details is like playing a game without knowing the rules. One ex-casino technician recalls countless players who never bothered to read the fine print, to their own detriment. For example, those seemingly cheap penny slots often force you to bet far more than 1 penny per spin. The penny is a bit of a lie. A multi-line penny machine might require a 75 cents minimum bet, that's 3/4 at once, to activate all lines, yet still pay back no better than a regular penny game. In other words, you're risking just as much money, but with a poorer return, because you didn't realize what you signed up for. Knowing your machine's mechanics is your first line of defense. Before you spin, take a second to read the help screen and understand the rules. The casinos hope you won't, because every misplay bonus and every missed jackpot qualification is money in their pocket, not yours. Don't give them that edge. Now that you've armed yourself with knowledge, it's time to talk about money management, which brings us to number 9. Number 9, overbetting your bankroll. Casinos absolutely love when you bet bigger than you should. Why? Because it means your money disappears faster. It's simple. The higher your bet per spin, the fewer spins it takes for a run of losses to wipe you out. And yes, those losing runs will come. Slot machines typically hit a winning combination on only a small percentage of spins, often between 8% and 20% of the time. Long losing streaks are the norm. If you're wagering $5 or $10 a spin on a machine that hits infrequently, you can burn through a $100 bankroll in the blink of an eye. Imagine this scenario. You walk in with $50, thinking you'll strike it rich by betting $5 a spin on a flashy high-limit slot. That gives you just 10 spins before your money could vanish. 10 spins can go by in under 2 minutes. Unless Lady Luck is extraordinarily kind, it's very possible all you get is 10 blanks and a quick trip to the ATM, which the casino is more than happy to point you toward. High bets bring high thrills. Sure, the machine's lights flash brighter, the potential jackpots jump, but the risk skyrockets too. The house edge doesn't shrink just because you bet max. The game's odds stay the same and will chew through large bets just as greedily as small ones. Smart players size their bets according to their bankroll. If you want a decent shot at playing for a while and maybe hitting something good, you usually shouldn't bet more than a small fraction of your total funds on each spin. Otherwise, you're gambling on a knife's edge. The casino wants you to think go big or go home. But going big often just sends you home with empty pockets. What happens when many players lose their money is even more dangerous. They reach for more cash and try to win it back. That's mistake number 8. Number 8. Chasing your losses. This is the classic gambler's downfall. You lose a few spins in a row, frustration builds, and a little voice in your head hisses, just one more 100. I can win it all back. So you feed the machine more money or jack up your bet, desperately trying to recoup what you've lost. It's a natural impulse, and casinos love it. They know that once you're in the hole, many players can't resist trying to dig themselves out. And in doing so, you often just dig the hole deeper. Chasing losses is like quicksand. The more you struggle, the further you sink. You start making rash decisions, doubling your bets, playing longer than you intended, maybe even sprinting to the ATM after swearing you were done. It's exactly what the house wants. Remember, each spin is independent. The machine doesn't owe you a win just because you've been losing. When you're chasing, you're not thinking about math or odds. You're driven by emotion, by the sting of loss and the fierce urge to erase it. Ex-casino staff will tell you they've seen this countless times. A guest blows through their budget, then stubbornly refuses to walk away. As one dealer put it bluntly, "Your greed is their profit." The casino's entire business model thrives on that moment when you throw good money after bad. Some gamblers even end up doing the unthinkable, dipping into savings, maxing out credit cards, or borrowing money they can't afford to pay back. All in pursuit of a comeback that never comes. The only way to win a slot you've been losing on is to not play. Set a loss limit and have the discipline to stick to it. If you hit that limit, walk away. Chasing will only chase your money straight into the casino's vault. So why do we feel this compulsion to keep playing after losses? It comes down to a deceptive idea the casino wants you to believe. And it's number 7 on our list. Number 7. Falling for the hot machine myth. This one is huge. Almost every gambler has believed it at some point. You might assume that after a long dry spell, the machine is due for a win. Or conversely, that a slot which just paid out has gone cold. This is the gambler's fallacy in full force, and it's pure poison for your bankroll. The truth, slot machines don't have memories. They don't get due for a win, and they don't suddenly turn cold after paying out. As one veteran casino insider revealed, a win is never due on a slot machine. You're just as likely to hit back-to-back jackpots as you are to hit 1 after 100 empty spins. In other words, randomness has no memory. What happened before doesn't change what happens next. Yet casinos love that you believe in hot and cold streaks. It keeps you glued to a machine, convinced each losing spin is building up to an inevitable payoff. You've probably experienced the near-miss effect. The reels show jackpot, and then just miss on the last reel. Your heart jumps. So close. It feels like a sign a win is coming. But in reality, that almost win is a carefully engineered illusion. Studies show that near misses light up the same reward areas of our brain as actual wins, tricking us into feeling we're on the brink of hitting it big. Game designers know this and take advantage of it. Those tantalizing almost jackpots are there to keep you playing. We start to treat a string of almost hits as progress toward a win, when mathematically they mean nothing. This myth is so pervasive that it even affects casino staff. Some will casually say things like, "That machine's due for a payout." Don't buy it. They have no secret knowledge. They're operating on the same gut feelings and observations, and they're often just feeding the myth. The outcome of each spin is determined by a random number generator spinning through thousands of possibilities per second. When you hit the button, you get whatever result the RNG lands on in that instant. Period. The machine isn't building up to anything. Believing in the hot machine or due-win fallacy leads to bad decisions, like staying on a losing machine far longer than you should, or abandoning a machine that could still pay out because you assume it won't. Don't let superstition cloud your judgment. Accept that each spin is independent. The machine doesn't care how much you've lost. It isn't getting ready to reward you. As painful as it is, that huge jackpot is just as likely on your first spin as on your 500th, and vice versa. Once you shake off this illusion, you can save yourself a lot of money and heartache. Because when you stop expecting the universe to owe you a win, you can make the rational choice to walk away when things aren't going your way. And speaking of things designed to mess with your judgment, let's talk about something else the casino offers with a smile. Number 6 on our list. Number 6, falling for the free perks trap. Step into a casino and you'll notice something odd. No clocks, no windows, time loses meaning under the neon glow. A friendly server offers you a free drink with a warm smile. Maybe you've got a player's club card that promises a free buffet or discounted room. It all feels so welcoming, like the casino is taking care of you. But make no mistake, every freebie in a casino is carefully calculated bait to keep you gambling longer. Take those complimentary cocktails. They're not giving them out because you're a great person who deserves a celebratory martini. Casinos offer free drinks because they know alcohol impairs your judgment and lowers your inhibitions. That on-the-house rum and coke is actually a sly investment. A little booze in your system makes you more likely to place bigger bets and less likely to walk away. Alcohol has a way of making you do things you'd normally think twice about. Like gamble recklessly or spend money you don't have. In one analysis, casinos frankly admitted that complimentary drinks are a huge incentive to get players to stay longer than they intended. More hours playing slots means more money lost, plain and simple. And how about the plush chairs, the soothing ambient music, the perfectly controlled climate? It's all designed for one thing, to make you comfortable so you don't get up. The casino wants you in a timeless bubble. No day or night, no distractions, just the endless cycle of play. Even the loyalty rewards, the free meals, hotel stays, show tickets are part of this trap. They seem like gifts, but in reality, you've paid for them many times over. Ever wonder why the casino is so happy to comp your buffet or room after you've spent hours at the slots? It's because those little perks keep you content and coming back. They throw you a free steak dinner, and in return, you might rationalize staying another few hours at the machines. At least I got a free meal. It's a trade they will win every time. Don't let the glitz and gifts fool you. There's always a hook behind that free cheese. Enjoy the freebies if you want. After all, they are there to be taken. But remember, their purpose is to cloud your judgment and extend your play. That free drink could end up the most expensive one you ever have, paid for by losses at the slots. So keep your wits about you. Drink water, keep an eye on the time, and never gamble longer or risk more just to earn a comp. The best reward you can give yourself is walking out with your money intact. And that brings us to another mistake. Spending so long at the machines that you forget the world outside. On to number 5. Number 5, marathon slot sessions. Ever lose track of time in a casino? That's no accident, and it ties in with mistake number 6. Some players will park in front of a slot and barely move for hours. Just spinning and spinning as minutes, then hours blur together. No bathroom breaks, no meals, just an IV drip of reels and lights. It's dangerously easy to do. The casino's dream is to have you become a slot machine zombie, oblivious to anything but the next spin. But here's the harsh truth. The longer you play, the more you will lose. Every extra half hour feeding that machine is more time for the house edge to grind down your bankroll. Think of gambling like any other activity. You get tired, you get sloppy. After hours of play, your judgment erodes. You start making bigger bets out of boredom or desperation. You stop any semblance of strategy, insofar as there is strategy in slots, and just mindlessly hit the button. That's exactly when the casino pounces. A Reddit commenter put it plainly. The house always wins, because if we play long enough, the mirth guarantees you'll give it all back. They didn't build those multi-billion-dollar palaces by letting players walk out rich every night. Marathon sessions also mess with your body and mind. You're sitting in a smoky, windowless room, possibly drinking, likely not eating properly. All that can fog up your decision-making. Fatigue sets in, but the machines are designed to keep you in a trance. You might even find yourself on autopilot, chasing that elusive win long past the point of exhaustion. The solution is simple in theory and tough in practice. Set limits before you start. Decide on a time limit, say an hour, or a loss limit, or both, and when you hit it, cash out and leave, no matter what. Some savvy gamblers wear a watch or set an alarm on their phone. Since the casino sure isn't going to help you keep track of time, to remind them when time's up. Break your play with walks outside, a meal, anything that isn't gambling. And if you had a good win, take a pause and celebrate it. Don't just plow it back in immediately. Because if you keep going and going, eventually that house edge will grind you down to zero. Remember, in a contest of endurance, the casino will always outlast you. They're open 24/7 with fresh staff and endless energy. You are human. Don't try to outlast the house. You won't. Step away, rest, or call it a night while you're ahead, or at least not too far behind. Which leads us to number 4. Number 4. Not quitting while you're ahead. Let's paint a picture. You just hit a nice win on a slot. Maybe not the mega jackpot, but a few $100. Real money, profit. Your heart is racing with excitement. In that moment, you've beaten the odds. The sensible move? Cash out. Take a celebratory selfie with the win and walk away while you're ahead. But so many gamblers do the opposite. They keep playing. The machine's hot, right? Why stop now when you could win even more? So you spin again. And again. And before you know it, those hard-won dollars trickle right back into the machine. The casino floor that just applauded your victory now watches you give it all back. Casinos rely on this phenomenon. They know that a lot of people, fresh off a win, feel invincible. The rush of dopamine from that win clouds judgment. There's even a term for it, playing with house money. The idea that the money you just won isn't really yours, so it's okay to risk it again. It's a dangerous mindset, because in reality, once those winnings are in your pocket, they're your money, and you can bet the casino considers it theirs to win back. Given enough spins, they likely will. It only takes a few cold spins, often at higher bets, since many people start betting bigger after a win, to wipe out that profit. Remember, the house edge hasn't changed just because you're up at the moment. If you keep playing, that edge will grind away your winnings, just as surely as it grinds down everyone else's. It's all too common to see big winners eventually slip it all back into the slots, unable to step away when Lady Luck smiled. The key here is discipline, easier said than done. Some rare gamblers pride themselves on always walking out with a profit. How do they do it? They quit the moment they're ahead, even if it's just by $50 or $100. They treat a win as a signal to stop, not as a reason to increase their bets. That's not gambling instinct. That's strategy and self-control. And it's the smartest play you can make. The next time you hit a solid win, try this. Take the ticket, cash it, and literally walk away. Feel that money in your hand. That's the moment you beat the casino, however briefly, and the only way to lock it in is to leave. Sure, it takes willpower to quit when you're having fun. The machines, the casino atmosphere, they're all whispering, stay, play more. But if you stay, there's a very good chance you'll become just another big win story with an unhappy ending. Quit while you're ahead. It's a cliche, yes, but it might be the hardest and most important lesson in gambling. Not everyone at the slots is chasing a few $100, of course. Some are chasing that life-changing mega jackpot, no matter the cost. And that pursuit can be its own kind of trap. Which brings us to number 3. Number 3. Obsessing over the mega jackpot. We've all seen those progressive slot machines with the flashing billboards showing jackpots in the millions. The idea of turning a $3 spin into $3 million is almost irresistible. And that's exactly what the casinos are counting on. Chasing that life-changing jackpot can lead people to pour far more money into those machines than they'll ever get out. It's not impossible to win a giant progressive, but the odds are astronomical. Akin to winning the lottery. In fact, the odds of hitting something like the Megabucks jackpot in Vegas are on the order of 1 in 50 million. You could play every day of your life and never see it hit. Meanwhile, those gains are quietly bleeding your bankroll. Big jackpot slots often have some of the worst payout percentages on the floor. A former slot technician noted that those multi-casino linked progressives, the ones fueling massive jackpots across many locations, are almost always tighter than regular machines. They have to be. That huge prize isn't magic. It's funded by all the losing spins players endure along the way. A portion of every bet goes into the jackpot pool, which means the game returns less to the average player. For example, a typical slot might return around 90% of the money wagered, keeping the rest for the house. whereas a giant progressive could pay back far less, sometimes only about 70%. That's a 30% house edge chewing up your funds spin by spin, all for a long shot dream that, statistically, will almost certainly never come true for you. Keep in mind, too, that if you're not betting max on a progressive slot, you often aren't even eligible to win that top prize. It's all or nothing, forcing you to place higher bets just for a chance, which only accelerates your losses. Game developers and casino managers know exactly how intoxicating the jackpot lure is, and they exploit it. None of this is to say you should never take a shot at a big jackpot. Hey, someone's got to win, and it could be you, but go in with eyes open. Treat it like buying a lottery ticket. A few bucks for the fun of dreaming, not a strategy to make money. The mistake is when you camp out at a mega jackpot machine for hours, convinced you can force it to pay off if you just feed it enough. You can't, and chasing that fantasy will likely drain your hard-earned money in exchange for nothing more than a flicker of hope. By all means, top a 20 in a mega jackpot machine for entertainment if you want, but don't make it your main game plan. Understand those games for what they are, extremely high-risk gambles with a hefty built-in advantage for the house. If your goal is to get the most playtime or to win something, you're usually better off on lower volatility, standalone machines. Keep the dream in check, or that dream might turn into a financial nightmare. We've covered a lot of specific slot pitfalls. Our last 2 points zoom out to the bigger picture. Number 2 is something many casual gamblers never do, but absolutely should, every time they sit at a slot machine. Number 2, forgetting to use your player's card. If you're going to gamble in a casino, never do it incognito. Always use your player's club card, or sign up for one if you haven't. This might sound odd after we've warned how comps and freebies can entice you to overplay. But here's the thing, if you're already going to gamble, you'd be foolish not to leverage the casino's reward system. The casino certainly leverages everything to its advantage. You should take what little advantage you can get. Yet countless slot players never bother with the club card at all, maybe thinking it's not worth the hassle, or buying into the myth that using it might affect their luck. Let's bust that myth right now. The player's card has zero impact on your game's outcome. It's simply tracking your play, how much you wager and for how long, so the casino can gauge what kind of customer you are. One ex-casino manager explained that the system doesn't care whether you win or lose, only how many dollars you put through the machine. That's it. There's no secret switch that makes the slot tighter when you insert your card. The random number generator that determines your results doesn't even know whether a card is inserted. The gains odds are identical either way. What you do get with the card, however, are comps and perks, essentially a tiny rebate on your play. It might come as free play credits, a meal voucher, some cashback, or a discounted room. Is this going to overcome the house edge? Not a chance. But it's better than nothing. Think of it this way, you're giving the casino your money when you gamble. The player's card is the only way to get a little back. It won't make you a winner, but at least you'll earn a free buffet or some slot play for money you'd lose anyway. Over time, especially if you gamble regularly, these perks can add up to a nice bonus. We're not saying to chase comps, that's its own trap, but if you're playing, it's just smart to claim the rewards you're entitled to. Never sit down at a slot machine without popping that card in. It's literally the easiest mistake to avoid. Don't leave free value on the table. We've made it to the final and most important point. This last one ties everything together. The ultimate truth every gambler needs to remember above all else. Number 1. Forgetting that the house always wins. This is the cardinal rule of gambling, the one truth you must never lose sight of. The odds are rigged in favor of the casino, always. Every game on that floor, especially the slot machines, is designed so that the house makes a profit in the long run. That doesn't mean you can't have a lucky night, or that individual players never win, someone's hitting those jackpots. But it does mean that if you keep playing indefinitely, the house will eventually take back all your winnings and then some. It's simple math. Those neon casinos were not built on generosity. They exist because every game guarantees the house a percentage of every bet over time. Slot machines are perhaps the clearest example. Each one is programmed with a return to player (RTP) percentage that's less than 100%. It might be 90%, 95%, or even lower, but never 100%. In other words, over the long run, the machine will always keep a slice of every dollar bet. That margin is the casino's profit, and it's inescapable. One former dealer laid it out. Slots have set returns, and they keep much more than they give out. Over many thousands of spins, that edge is like gravity. You might get a brief escape with a lucky streak, but ultimately, you can't beat gravity. A mistake is when gamblers ignore this reality. They start believing they can somehow outsmart the system, or that they're on a special lucky run that will defy the odds. They might double down, play for hours chasing that euphoric feeling, or gamble money they can't afford because they're sure they can turn it around. It's a seductive illusion, thinking you might be the exception to the rule. But the rule exists for a reason. In the end, the house always wins. So what does this mean for you? It means gambling should never be viewed as a way to make money or solve money problems. Treat it as entertainment, an expense, not an investment. Set a budget for what you can afford to lose, because odds are you will lose it. And consider any win a bonus, basically a temporary loan from Lady Luck. If you do hit a jackpot, remember point number 4, take the money and run. If you find yourself losing more than you're comfortable with, or chasing losses desperately, step away. The games will be there later, the odds unchanged, whenever you return. Understanding that the house always wins is actually empowering. It frees you from the myth that you can somehow beat a system built to outlast you. It reminds you to gamble responsibly, if you choose to gamble at all. Don't give them more profit than you're comfortable with. Know when to stop, because the only sure way to win against a slot machine that is mathematically tilted against you is not to play. The world of slot machines is a dazzling circus of lights, sounds, and hopeful excitement. But behind the curtain, the reality is far more cold and calculated. By learning from those who've worked on the inside, by knowing these 10 never-do pitfalls, you've armed yourself with something rare on the casino floor: knowledge. And knowledge is the one thing the house doesn't want you to have. It won't guarantee you a win, but it will help you avoid the worst mistakes. Minimize your losses and make smarter choices if you do play. So next time you hear the siren song of a slot machine, you'll know exactly what not to do. Stay safe, stay smart, and remember, the real jackpot is walking away with your bankroll on your own terms.